All right, so this time it's talking about the LSE or the ESTJ in Socionics. So this is a type that is TE dominant. Okay, they're TE dominant, which means they're interested in application. What can I use? What works? What's been shown to work, and how can I use it? How can I use knowledge and information? Um, because TE is dominant, that makes TI ignoring. They're not as interested in the theory, the theoretical stuff very much, or at least usually they're not. They're interested in what's can I work on, what can I do, and is it useful? Whatever I'm learning and dealing with, it's because it is I find it useful in some way, uh, to know that information and to know how to use it and how to get good at it, right? Now their TE, their base TE, is combined or blocked with SI. So they are a very, very down to earth type, very pragmatic. What is applicable and useful here and now in the real world that I can actually use someone in front of me, right? And when they get to work, when it's time to get things done and do stuff, they want to do it in a way that is relaxing, that is comfortable for them. They want to set up their environment so that they can work as efficiently as possible, but also as comfortably as possible. They want to make sure that their computer is set up right, their books are in the right place, they have everything they need, they're working at the time that they want to work, when they feel that they're ready to work and at their best, consistently setting a nice, comfortable pace to be productive and get things done. Um, because they want to be productive, they want to work at a nice pace. They tend to set up kind of a little bit more of a schedule, a rhythm, a flow for themselves to get things done. So it might be a type to wake up at a certain time, at a consistent time, have their cup of coffee, have their little morning routine, have all that set up real nice. And then, okay, get to work, get to the office, get to where I need to go. Now I'm here, I have all my things where I need them to be. There's no need to be hectic. Everything is right where I want it to be. Everything is the way it's supposed to be, nice and relaxed, working at a nice pace. Because what they don't want is to be rushing. They don't want to be rushing things. They don't want to be last minute scrambling for stuff. They don't want to be wondering where things are. They don't want to be working at uncomfortable times and hours that they don't enjoy doing. So because of that desire to stay in that comfort range, that's where they look like they're setting up a routine. They have these little routines, these little schedules that they might have that they're doing. And it's not because they are so rigid and need a routine. It's just that this is a comfortable way of doing things. This is a way to make sure that they can work at a consistent pace, get the job done right, not rush it, because rushing things means you're going to make mistakes. Rushing things means it's uncomfortable. It's hectic. They don't like that. They really despise that. And that's where they kind of shift between other types. Some people, other types, maybe you get an assignment or you get a task or something. They'll say, hey, you got to have all this done. You got the deadlines in 3 months. The LSC is like, okay, I'm going to get to work now. And I want to get to work now. So I get it all done and I get it all out of the way. And I'm going to have it done early. And then I'll have 2 months to relax. Because now I get to just relax and take my time. And if I have to fix something, I have 2 months to go back and fix something. I don't have to rush. I don't have to frantically start looking around for things. I have plenty of time so I can stay relaxed. I can stay in a nice, comfortable work environment. All right. So it's really out of that desire to keep things nice and smooth and harmonious in their environment that they can seem like they're kind of in their routines and so on, that J type of stuff people say. Now they do have SE demonstrative. So they are a hardworking type. They will grind. They will say, okay, this task requires us to work some long hours, or I have to push myself to get that A. I have to push myself to get that promotion. I have to push myself, whatever, or the job itself requires it. Maybe the job, it's going to be a physical thing, or we're going to have to work hard physically to get it done. They'll do that. They will work hard. They will overcome those difficult, long, stressful, long hours of working, of doing whatever it takes. They'll overcome that. And they will, if need be, push people around, organize people, get them where they need to go to make sure that things get done correctly. Things are being done on time in the way it needs to be done. Again, they're focused on the TE. They want things to be effective. They want it to be done in a practical, productive way. Let's be productive. Let's get it done. If people are sitting around, they're messing around, well, we're not being productive, are we? Then we're not getting things done because we're just messing around. Let's get to move. Let's go. Let's get it on, people. So they can be pushy in that sense when it comes to being productive and getting things done. All right. And again, a lot of times it's out of an interest to jump on a task now. Let's get it done right with plenty of time to spare so that we're not running around going crazy later. Because that's what they don't want. They don't want that disruption to the SI that they value. They don't value SE. They'll work hard because it's for a purpose, but they don't just want to work hard for the sake of it. They want to get back to a nice, relaxed, comfortable environment, SI. So they have any mobilizing as they kind of get older, they start exploring more. They start watching those documentaries on things. They start reading more things. They start looking at cultural differences, just kind of expanding on different ideas out there in the world. They may start also taking on hobbies that they enjoy, like writing. I've seen a few that like to become writers. They want to write fiction or nonfiction or whatever. Some who take on music. They want to start playing instruments and things like that. Maybe a dance or something. Things like that. They just kind of take on themselves and they just want to start working on those things. And they take a very typical TESI approach to it. I want to get better at playing the guitar. I'm going to practice. I'm going to put in a certain amount of hours each day, but I'm going to work at a nice, comfortable pace. And over time, as I just keep at it, I will get better. I will learn more. I will get better at my music, or I'll get better at my writing because I'm putting in the hours. I'm putting in the work. Now, their NE tends to be blocked with FI. FI is the suggestive function at the bottom. So this is a type that can struggle to know which people to kind of judge certain people, like who's going to work well with me, who's not. They can sometimes have issues keeping some people around. This usually I find shows up more in terms of dating life. So it's a type that might date around, especially early in life. They date a lot of people. And they don't have dramatic, awful relationships. The relationships just kind of fizzle. They just sort of realize, hey, we didn't really have the right chemistry. That person was attractive physically and they seemed on the surface like they were a good fit. So I went on some dates and we did this, but didn't really work, whatever. I noticed that that's usually where they have some of their problems. They may also have problems sometimes just to kind of in a more social sense. This like one-on-one interpersonal skills, they sometimes have a hard time adjusting to people. Again, particularly when they're younger, it's like they don't really know how to do the social skills to talk to you. They try to maybe be that type of person who wants to just solve your problems. Oh, you have a problem? Well, let's come up with a practical solution. You just need to do this and do this and do that, and your job, and it's done. So they really have a hard time when it's more of an issue. It's kind of more like an emotional thing. Somebody's talking about how they feel, and it's more about these feelings on things and so on. It's not about solving the problem. It's about just like listen to how these people feel and how they approach things to life and what matters to them, and be able to be more understanding about those feelings. LSEs can have some trouble with that, especially earlier in life. It takes them a while to kind of get a little more understanding of these things. But they are a type that they do value FI. They want a nice, consistent relationship. They want consistent friendships, so on. And they usually do a pretty good job of it too. Again, this is a type that's very understanding of different kinds of people, they can be more flexible with people being people. And as long as, you do you, as long as it doesn't interfere with me, you're doing your thing, that's fine. That's cool. You have a sort of different lifestyle. That's all right, but it's not interfering with me. And so I can be much more flexible at accepting you for who you are and what you're interested in. Uh, they can especially grow into this as they get older. It is a type that can maintain friendships for a long time. So you will see that more so with friends, where they may be somebody who has lifetime friends. They have 5, 6, 7 people that they've known since they were kids, since they were in elementary school or middle school, and they still talk to them. They still call them up and things like that. Um, they're usually pretty good at that. Um, this is kind of in contrast to, like, let's say an LIE that has that gamma quadrant style, where they have SEFI, so they can be a lot more aggressive with people. LIEs, that is. LIEs can be much more aggressive with people, much harsher with people, a little less accepting of people's flaws and issues. But the LSE is not so harsh. The LSE can be much more amicable, more friendly, more just get along with people in a general sense, because they don't feel any need to make a big fuss out of things. They don't see any need to quarrel with people. They don't want to. That's a waste of energy. Those people believe in that and they want to do that. That's fine. It's okay. Different strokes for different folks. Let them do that. Um, so anyway, they'll believe more in that. FE. So FE role. So FE and TE are mutually exclusive things. They oppose each other. So if you're doing TE, you can't be doing FE. If you're doing FE, you can't be doing TE. Since LSEs are TE dominant, they're focused more on being productive. Let me get work done. Let's do things. And let's do it in that controlled SI way, nice controlled pace, get things done and be productive. And then we worry about all the social stuff and people's dramas and all that. We do that later. They're not as interested in the big things going on in society, big social stuff. Nah, it's okay. I'm not worried about that. I just want to get my work done and focus on myself and do the best work that I can for me. They're usually not very expressive people. They're kind of a little bland, very consistently, um, consistent in their emotions, consistent in their expressions and so on, kind of a very level-headed type. They're consistent. They're not a type to be excited and, whoa, let's go crazy about this, and not really. So they don't do well. They're not a very exciting type. They're not dramatic at all, and they usually don't like drama. They don't like any social drama. They don't like people being over the top, too much hysterical behavior. They usually don't like that. They tend to walk away from that. It's just not interesting to them. So that's FE. Now, if they have to be kind of social and try to be a little charming people, they can. They turn it on for a little while, shake hands, be nice, be civil. Because they're very accepting with people and people just being different, they can be very, very civil people. This is why they kind of look like they're great at like small talk and stuff like that, because they're SI valuing. They want harmony. They don't want any issues. They're sort of accepting of people being different. You have a different way of doing things and your culture is a bit different. That's fine, whatever. As long as it doesn't affect me, that's okay. And so for the sake of getting along with people and putting on the right impression, not causing drama, they'll play their part. They'll dress the way they're expected to dress for that event. They'll do what they're expected to do. They'll behave the way they're expected to behave, and they'll get along with that. Different from other types that are going to shake things up, not LSEs. And then lastly, LSEs have NI as a vulnerable position, as a polar position. So they don't like to think about the significance of where things are going, what's important, where are things going to be 10 years from now, what is the most significant thing that we're working on, where should we focus our efforts. They're not thinking about that. To them, they want to focus on what's here in front of them, because they have TE and then SI and SE up front, right? These are all the strong functions that they have. They're very much about what's here now in front of me. I'm going to focus on what I have to do, what I can control. I can't control management. I can't control politicians and people over there. I can't control what people are doing over there in that part. I can control myself and what's in front of me. So I'm going to worry about that. And I can't predict where things are necessarily going to be 5 years from now. I don't know. I don't know where society is going to be 5 years from now. I don't know where things are going to go. And I don't know what work we're doing right now that is going to be significant to me 3 or 4 years down the road, or a year down the road. I don't know. But what I do know is I'm going to work hard at everything that's here in front of me. I'm going to get good at everything. I'm going to set a high standard for myself. And then hopefully when I get to wherever I'm going, I'm as set up as possible, and I'll deal with it as it happens. To compare the LIE using NI, they're looking at schoolwork, or they're looking at their tasks in front of them, and they're saying, hey, what's important? What should I focus my effort on? Because that's what's significant right there. That's what's the most important thing in front of me. That's the thing that I'm going to be needing 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road when I get there. That's what's going to be important then. So that's where I'm going to focus my effort. Everything else is extra, superfluous. It doesn't matter. Forget about all that other stuff. Right? The LIE is comfortable doing that. And the LIE thinks that that's being efficient, working at a specific goal they're trying to get to, that they believe that's where it's going. The LIE also has more confidence in judging for themselves what's actually meaningful and useful and where it's going to be. They don't need to hear it from an authority figure or some doctorate or whatever. They don't care. They can think for themselves and judge, this is what I need, is where I'm going. The LSE, however, doesn't view it that way. To them, they're going, well, you don't know where you're going to be. You don't know what skills you're actually going to need. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. So you might need any of these things. So instead, study everything, get good at everything, practice everything, work on all these different things so that everything is covered. And then whatever happens down the road, it's all covered. Right. The LSE is more uncomfortable with trying to focus on one thing and ignore the other stuff, because they're not sure what's actually going to be important down there. And with it, the LSE is therefore going to appear like they trust authority more, because to them, they're like, well, I don't know where things are going to go. How do we know that? We don't know that. But I can try to trust that doctorate over there who's been working in this field for 30 years, that he probably knows more than I do because of his experience, because of what he's doing. So I'm going to trust him. I'm going to trust his experience. I'm going to trust his credentials, that he probably knows what's best and where things are going to go and what we should work on. And I'm going to trust that. I'm going to go with it, rather than me trying to decide for myself what is really going to happen and what's significant. So that's the reason the LSEs can look like they're going along with the system more. That's one of the reasons. They don't want to predict things. And they're also concerned that if you predict things, or if you're trying to decide for yourself, this is what's going to happen, this is where we're going to go, you're doing that NI thing, to them, they're like, you're getting ahead of yourself. Stop. There's a reason things are the way they are. Let's move in a nice, controlled way, getting everything done right, each step of the way, TESI, getting it done and not jumping ahead. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, because if you get ahead of yourself, now you're going to make a mistake. Now you're going to miss something. No, we don't want to do that. I don't want to miss something. I don't want to screw something up because I was trying to jump ahead of the process. Let's follow the steps. Let's get it done right, and so on. So that's the LSE's point of view. Don't jump ahead. There's a reason we need to move in a controlled pace. Stop trying to get ahead of yourself. Right? Anyway, that's the attitude they tend to have. So again, the NI was the vulnerable, and you had FE as the role function. So you have NI and FE being not good. This is why it's a type that they're not interested in where is society going, like what is society trying to do, what's the bigger picture, where society, they're worried about, I'm worried about myself, I'm worried about what I can control, I'm worried about my environment, my house, my comfortable space, let me do my own thing, nice and relaxed, easy. I mentioned already they're TI ignoring. because they're TE dominant. So they're interested in what's practical, what's applicable, and so on. They don't want to get too deep in theoretical things, diving too deep into stuff that just seems like it has no practical use to it. They're not as interested in that. So they tend to work in areas that are more about pragmatic stuff, using TI only when needed. So they might be a type to go into computer sciences, do computer work and so on. Fine. And they use some TI because they have to do computer logic, right? It's just part of the job, but it's all to do a practical task, right? With TE and SI. And again, this is a type that is usually seen as like a model citizen. Usually they tend to be a type that's very good at whatever they choose to do because they are good workers. They work in a nice, productive way, in a controlled way. They're not a dramatic type. They're not hysterical. They set a high standard for themselves. This is what I want to do. This is my expectation. This is what I consider good quality work, and I'm going to work to that, right? If I should be getting a 95 or better in this exam, well, I'm going to get a 95. Anything less than that, I failed myself. That's how they feel. And they can be down on themselves when they just don't do the work to the standard that they set for themselves. Again, TE with and they have SE demonstrative, so they're a type that likes to get to work. They see a task, let's get to work, guys. And then we can relax. Other types may not get to work right away. Other types might say, "No, we got time. I don't need to jump on that right away." LSE is now getting upset because like, yeah, we should. We can get on this now and get it done. Everything's ready, right? We're relaxed. Because they want to relax. Very different. LIEs are not interested in relaxing. They don't care. LIEs don't mind working quickly, working at a frantic pace, get a lot done in a little bit of time. LIEs don't mind, in fact, enjoy cutting corners, finding a way to be more efficient to get to where they need to go. To the LSE, you're just cutting corners. You're not putting in the work. That's why some of the other types, you guys don't succeed or you have issues because you're not putting in the work. You're not grinding. You're not putting in the hours you should be putting in. That's usually LSE mindset. This is a type that we see them a lot. Again, they're not exciting, but they're usually a great character that works well, that tends to be the center of things a lot. A Captain America in the Avengers. He's kind of the heart and soul of the Avengers team, but obviously he's not the most exciting guy. Although he's strong and powerful, he's not really using that. He's very kind and lenient towards everybody. He's very understanding of everybody. He wants things to be relaxed. He doesn't want to fight. He wants things to just, let's talk it out if we can. Let's get things, let's sort it out. But if we have to fight, if that's where it's going to go, well, then okay, we're going to fight. Right? So you see there the desire more for an harmonious SI rather than SE, not valuing SE. And being more accepting of people, to be a little bit different, people's own little weird idiosyncrasies, their own approach. That's fine. You can be you in your own way. That's that NEFI at the bottom. So anyhow, there's probably some other characters that I'll bring up as examples. Hermione Granger from Harry Potter is usually a good one for this. I could think of James Holden from The Expanse. It's probably one of these types. You have presidents like George H.W. Bush, likely one of these characters, one of these types. Many generals and people like that. What is like General Petraeus? You have what's his name now? It was another big American general during the Iraq invasions. Now, forgot his name too. Whatever. Anyway, so we'll get on that. So let me know what you think. Let me know if I missed anything. If you want me to kind of like expand on something. Yeah, again, ultimately just a really, really well-rounded type. Other than the fact that they tend to be like the most perfect worker, you can get kind of jealous of them because of that. They just seem so just down to earth, getting things done. They're kind of annoying in that sense, for envious reasons. Yeah, that So whatever, let me know what you think. Leave your comments. As always, like and subscribe, and on to the next one.